Hello friends, today I want to start sharing with you my story in the procedure of coming off antidepressants. As some of you might know, and I shared on other videos, the antidepressants that I took is called Escitalopram, known as Lexapro and Cipralexa. I wanted to focus this video on the coming off, on the tapering experience, because I know how hard it is to do it. When I first started to think about it, I went online, I went to the forums, and I saw people that were having a lot of trouble with it. So if this is your case and you're thinking of going off the antidepressant, or you are and you're having trouble, stick with me because I will guide you through the procedure, I will give you some advice, and I will share my story with you. I am now off them, so I think it's a success story. And also I made this series of videos because I want the people who are thinking of going on an antidepressant to know and to understand how hard it is to actually get off them. Because I think nowadays we take these substances very lightly. They're very common and doctors are very fast to prescribe them, and this is not, in my opinion, a substance that should be taken lightly. It's something that should be taken very seriously, actually. I have to say that when I thought about going off the substance, I had been on it for 2.5 years. I thought I was ready, I was stable, I was no longer depressed. I didn't need it in my life. I thought it had now a more negative impact than a positive, and I shared also this with you on other videos, namely on the one called My Experience on Escitalopram. And I was ready for it. But the funny thing is, the moment I thought of going off it, I immediately felt a bit anxious and depressed. And for me, this is fantastic because this only proves the theory that some people have, that we don't even know if these substances work at all, or if we make ourselves believe that they do work. Because I can give you a pill and I can tell you, yes, this is going to make you feel better, and more likely than not, you are going to feel better if I tell you that. And so the opposite happened to me that day. I thought about going off my drugs, and I immediately started to make myself feel worse. So for me, this was also actually a good sign. It meant that if I would begin to feel anxious or depressed on the sequence of the procedure of coming off antidepressants, it wouldn't necessarily mean that there was something wrong with my brain and I would have to go on the drug again. It would maybe be my imagination and the things I would be suggesting to myself. And on that same logic, I could also suggest to myself that this is only a phase, this is going to pass, this is only my imagination, and I can go through it and I can push through it. So from what I saw online, from the research that I did, the main experiences that I could have would divide themselves into categories. So there would be the physical effects and the psychological effects. Yeah, this is a really, really strong substance. It affects your whole body. So the physical sensations would be headaches, nausea, tiredness, and the famous brain zaps that we all experience when we take SSRIs, those small electric shocks at the level of the brain that make you feel a bit disoriented, and the psychological effects, which were the ones that I would fear more. I saw people that would go back to feeling depressed, or people who would go back to having panic attacks or feeling super anxious. So I was afraid of those too. I have to say that on week 1, I already started getting a lot of side effects. So I went to the doctor and she gave me a plan, a tapering plan, and the plan had 4 weeks, and I extended the plan because I thought it was too short. I put the plan on the description below so you could see what I'm talking about. This video is about weeks 1 to 3. In these 3 weeks, I was originally taking 10 milligrams of escitalopram daily, and on these 2 weeks, I took 10 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 5 milligrams, etc. On week 1, as I said, I immediately started to feel side effects. The main side effect that I immediately experienced was a massive increase in brain zaps. I had them already during the 2.5 years that I took the substance, but this time they came every day, all the time. Personally, it doesn't affect me very much. I don't mind them, but I know that some people really do mind them, and it can be very disorienting to them. The other side effect that I had right away, and that one was really important for me, was irritability. I would snap at everything and everyone. The tone of voice of someone would annoy me. A touch of someone would annoy me. I was in a room and there was a fly in the room that was stuck and couldn't get out, and I wouldn't rest while I wouldn't kill the fly. For example, once I was trying to install Skype on my computer because I wanted to talk to a friend and I couldn't, and I took it personally and I thought the whole world was out to get me. The solution in these cases is stop whatever you're doing. Stop immediately. Meditate. Meditation really helps. Try some sport maybe, although your physical resistance won't be as strong in this procedure as before. But try some cardio, some physical exercise, some light cardio might help, or a break of anything. Just don't continue what you're doing. If you're in a discussion with someone because you're super irritable, which will happen, stop the discussion. Because that person in that discussion is not you, it's the drug. It's your brain trying to adapt itself, to adjust itself, and at this point it's going to be 10 times more sensitive to everything. The other side effect that I experienced immediately was emotionality. You can start crying for nothing, over nothing. It can happen. If you're with someone at the moment and this happens, don't hesitate to explain that you're on the procedure of coming off antidepressants. Antidepressants are a big taboo subject still amongst us, but we have to stop making this so, because your mental health is important, and wanting to improve your mental health shouldn't be a taboo. It shouldn't be a taboo to say I'm in therapy, I'm taking antidepressants. This should be a thing that is good for you, and it's good for people around you as well, that you're improving your mental health. But, my advice on at least on these 3 weeks, the 3 first weeks, try to take a sick leave or try to go on a holiday, because it's also going to affect your work and your work relations. On week 2, I started to feel more physical symptoms. So I started to feel an upset stomach, nausea, diarrhea, cramps. I wasn't scared because I had felt these symptoms before when I was starting to get on the drug. So I know they were normal. I knew they would pass. And in fact, after 4 days, they did subside. My irritability, however, really got worse in week 2. I got this sort of Tourette where I would feel something and I would say it immediately without any filter. Think before you explode. I mean, you should do it anyway in your life in general. Think before you speak. But while you're on this tapering procedure, you should especially be careful with what you say. Think twice before you react, because you're going to do it very abruptly, and again, it's not you. I started having flu-like symptoms, so I didn't have the flu. I wasn't feeling physically ill, but I would have a bit of a body ache and a bit more tired, as if I was beginning to catch a flu or something. And also I started having short-term memory loss. Nothing very serious, but for example, if I would look at the clock, maybe 5 minutes later, I would forget what time it was again. It happens to me in normal life as well, but it happened more during this phase. I can say that in week 3, these symptoms started to calm down and stabilize. So my irritability decreased, which was very, very good. What else? My energy levels went back to normal. I started to feel more comfortable with the symptoms that I was experiencing. I knew what to expect. I knew how to deal with them. Meditation really helped. Although I have to say that on these first weeks, and also on the weeks after, I felt something that I had already felt before in meditation, which was that I couldn't concentrate as much as I would normally be able to. It's as if I couldn't access that place in my brain where I would be completely concentrated. Don't give up on meditation if you do it. It's a really good alternative to chemicals. It can definitely really help you to calm down, to not feel things so immediately, not react so abruptly. And I think 3 weeks is a good period to adapt to a new dose. Of course, everyone is different and your body is different than mine. But in general, don't feel like you have to rush through this process. Don't feel like you have to skip to the next phase if you're not ready. It took me 3 weeks to get ready to the next phase. Maybe it will take you more, maybe it will take you less. It's really take as much time as you want. I was supposed to take a month. That was the plan that my doctor gave me, and I ended up taking 4 months. Some personal shit happened in the meantime. That's why I took so long. I think if nothing had happened, if my life would have just continued normally, I would have taken like 3 months. But again, everyone is different. I think this is a success story. Now I am without the pill and I feel quite okay. It's been a struggle so far, and don't forget to see my next videos where I talk about the following weeks. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I will be glad to help you. And if you have a success story coming off an antidepressant, please share it with us on the comments below, because I think it's so unfair that the internet is full of horror stories of people who cannot go off these medications. And, you know, I'm living proof that you can do this. So, happy healings, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.